I'm going to start off by saying this challenge is kicking my butt. Each painting has been a battle between me and the brush, and I don't always win. First, let's talk about the first painting, from the movie Ponyo when she's running over these water fish. I thought this scene would be fun to paint, and it was. But it wasn't without hiccups. The first issue I had was with my fancy new gouache I used last video, and I tried to reactivate what was on my palette like I would with my Himi gouache. It didn't go well, and all I could get was a very patchy watercolor consistency. This made it a struggle to keep painting, and I ultimately decided to go back to my Himis just because that is what I'm most comfortable with. And I'd rather save my nicer paints for my professional illustrations. After the switch, everything started going a lot more smoothly. I really enjoyed painting the background, and I think this boosted my confidence a bit. I did well with the color matching and getting flat, uniformed layers of color. I was feeling pretty good. Then I started peeling up the masking fluid. Since this has been a continual problem, I want to preface that I don't usually use masking fluid, and when I sketched the first 10 scenes in the beginning of January, I impulsively decided to put it on all of the characters and let it sit there for 3 weeks by this point. So it has become one with the paper. I acknowledge that all this struggle is completely my fault, however, I'm still going to complain about how my choices negatively impacted my work. I hate it, to be honest. It tore up my paper, and now the exposed surface soaks up the paint like it was the first cup of water in the morning. The other issue it caused was the brush no longer being able to slide around on the page. I started to have this issue in the last set of scenes, but it was not this bad. And to be honest, it got worse with each piece in this video.
I wanted so badly to give up because I ruined the pages and wanted to skip them, but if I did that, it would just ruin the sketchbook, so it would be easier to just start over.
I was obviously being dramatic because admittedly I hold myself to expectations that are on the verge of impossible. I constantly have to remind myself that it's okay if what I do is bad, especially in this long-term challenge where I have 92 more chances to learn, push through frustration, and become a better artist. Constantly picking apart details I can no longer control and am already actively improving my skills on aren't going to help me grow any more than I already will. Our second scene is from the Fox the Hound. I adore this movie, but when I was little it freaked me out a bit. I always liked the beginning while the animals were young, but I hated how the character dynamic changed as they grew older. Now, as an adult, I have a greater appreciation and understanding of the story. My painting does not do it justice. I began by attempting wet and wet in the background, but I really struggled getting correct colors and values. I'm in love with the log texture. It's my favorite part of the finished painting. It's not perfect, but as someone who struggles with texture, it's one step closer to my goals. Painting the characters once again was a disaster. At this point, the masking fluid was not only destroying the paper beneath it, but it would also tear the surrounding paper. I did not want to work on this challenge for several days, partially because of the impossible to work with masking fluid and also because I haven't been taking care of myself. I think that's also why my third painting was a failure. I don't want to get too detailed, but I wanted to say something about it because between working on a full-time job and trying to start an art business, I've put my health on the back burner. I'm working on fixing that because it affects everything else. My work both at my job and my art. It also impacts mental health, so make sure you're taking care of yourself. Don't be like me. Coraline is one of my favorite movies. I love the story, characters, and backgrounds. I love stop-motion animation, and I really want to make some myself sometime in the future. For now, I'll just stick to painting. This painting went horribly. It is definitely the worst painting yet. Of course, I started with the background, but nothing went right. When it came to painting on Coraline, it went even worse. I'm really proud of how the face and hair turned out. The texture of the hair and planes of the face went well, but I dripped water on the background and on the Fox and the Hound painting. I could not continue any further. 4.5 hours of painting, and everything but the character's head still needed a lot of work. I called this piece a failure because I gave up on it, And I think the primary reason for my struggle was due to running on caffeine and 3 hours of sleep. This was a true test of having compassion and kindness for myself. I don't like sharing all the negative emotions or thoughts I have while creating, but I also think sharing that side is so important. For me, every piece is a journey with both highs and lows, and since a lot of this video has been low, I saved the best painting for last. I'm not a fan of Over the Garden Wall. It's not that I don't like it, I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I should try to watch it again. Even though I don't love the show, I also can't deny that the artwork is beautiful. I think it went well because the background was easy. It's a little abstract and not too detailed, so I painted it quickly. When it came to the characters, I still had a horrible battle with the masking fluid, but I pushed through and painting the characters were tough on the textured and torn page, but I'm so proud of my color mixing skills and mostly flat layers for bringing this painting together. This group of paintings were such a struggle, and while some are better than others, I'm really proud of how far I've come and how much I've accomplished in the first month of 2024. But before you go, I wanted to thank you so very much for watching and welcome all of the new viewers that have flooded my comment section over the last couple days. You have all been so encouraging, and I'm so grateful you are here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.